Good evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to announce that the Mayor and Council met in executive session on September 12th to discuss matters pursuant to the Sunshine Act. And again, on September 19th, the Mayor and Council had an executive session to discuss litigation matters pursuant to the Sunshine Act as well.
So now we've moved to the part of the agenda which is always really truly the most rewarding part of sitting up here with council. And this is whenever we get to give special presentations. So good evening, everyone in the audience and everyone who is joining us live through live stream. It is truly my honor and privilege to make the proclamation that I'm about to make. We have an individual who resides in Penn Hills. It goes without saying who one of the absolute top realtors in this area is, and that is Stacy Rullo. And many people don't like that we call ourselves or that we're referred to as a bedroom community, but that's what we are. We have homes, and that's what we're not Monroeville or Lawrenceville or a business district, but we have homes. And particularly in its heyday, we had engineers and other folks from, when Pittsburgh was the third largest corporate headquarters in America, we had folks from Westinghouse and U.S. Steel, and even today we have folks from Alcoa and Heinz, naming all the corporations that we have. They may work at those industries and then they come home to Penn Hills. And so to be a realtor is more than just a business, it is creating homes for people. And it is, again, on behalf of the municipality of Penn Hills, it is truly an honor and a privilege to make the following proclamation. Whereas Saturday, September 10th, 2022 is the birthday, or was the birthday, of Penn Hills resident and businesswoman Stacy Rulo. And whereas Stacy holds undergraduate and graduate degrees from the University of Pittsburgh and has resided in the community with her husband since 1982. Whereas Stacy has made a career in real estate in Penn Hills as a licensed broker with multiple respected firms before forming the Stacy Rulo Group in 2012. And whereas Stacy has sold over 5,000 homes in Penn Hills and was recognized as Realtor of the Year by the Realtors Association of Metro Pittsburgh. And whereas Stacy has represented Penn Hills and helped countless new residents choose to make their home in Penn Hills. And whereas Stacy has supported charities such as the Animal Rescue League, ASPCA, and by serving as a businesswoman role model for young women in our community. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, as mayor of Penn Hills, along with council, do hereby proclaim Saturday, September 10th, 10/22, as Stacy Rulo Day in the municipality of Penn Hills. Stacy, please come forward. Please come with me. Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese.
Present.
Councilor Fascio.
Present.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Present.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Pecora.
Present.
All present.
May I get a motion for item number 4, approval of the minutes for the August 2022 meeting?
Mayor Calabrese, I'd like to make the motion that we accept and approve the minutes from our August 15th, 2022 meeting.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilor Fascio.
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pecora.
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Minutes approved.
May I get a motion for item number 5, ratification of expenditures?
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ratification of expenditures in the amount of $4,170,338.89.
Thank you, Councilwoman Fascio. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment?
Thank you, Mayor. Greg Swatchik, 648 Gramick Lane. I don't know if you say just a point of order, but I thought also on the approval of minutes that you would offer public comment as well in case something was missed. You did usually, so, but no big deal.
No, but if there's something, and if you want to bring that to my attention afterwards, that's fine. Please feel free, and then we can always adjust it at the next meeting.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. It was just a breaking of from tradition I wanted to point out. I'm just, in general, asking about the Gateway Engineer bills. I won't read off all the ones. When it comes to the multimodal funding for these grants, are those grants that were already awarded and the work scope is overseeing, say, paving jobs? Or are they anticipated grant money to come whereby it's going to be, Gateway involved to make a shelf-ready project as to identify what the money will be spent on if we get the grant money? So if maybe somebody could just is it a before, present, after thing when it just loosely says multimodal grant money? Because it sort of doesn't set it in time, and I know there's a lot of past, present, and future activities that would be the same subject title that have been floating around. Thank you.
Sure, go ahead.
My advice, Greg, would be in terms of if you're interested in a particular expense that's on that sheet, there's an invoice that goes with it. You'd have to really look to see the invoice behind that to see what was covered. In other words, that's a list of people that are receiving payment, but each of those vendors sent an invoice here with itemizations as to what the services are. So you'd really have to refer to the invoice to see what it covered.
Yes, I would just add, I heard a question in there, is this for future grant work? The answer is no. These are grants that Penn Hills has already, and this is the work to oversee the contractor, the bidding, the daily inspection, the pay applications and punch lists and things of that nature. So that is part of the work that you've won award-wise. Sure.
Any further public comment? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Brodnicki?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pecora?
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese?
Yes.
Councilor Fascio?
Yes.
Expenditures approved. Next, we move to comments on non-agenda items for residents that submitted a request in writing at least a week in advance to address council. I will call the names of the residents that signed up in advance. Barbara Goodson, if you're here this evening, now is your time. If you could please just give your address as well for the record, and please keep in mind we do have a 3-minute rule, as you know.
I'll try the best I can. I would like to thank the council and the mayor for contacting PennDOT, which they did come out and look at Abel Road. Good. They only patched it. They promised possibly within a year to 2 years, no guarantee that they would fix Abel Road completely and fix the water that's coming up. Winter's coming, and last year we had to go to the opposite side of the road to avoid going down into the pothole. So basically all they're going to do is patch it. And I've been calling over 12 years because I've been retired 12 years. I did talk to some of the neighbors. They're still concerned about it too. So I appreciate it if you stay on them about that. The next thing on the agenda was the storm drains in our area. I counted over 23 within the area of McCarmel, Grove, Abra. They have vegetation growing out of there. I don't know why they weren't put on the agenda to be cleaned out. Certain ones have been out to look at it within the council, which I appreciated. Also, the park, Ross Park, my granddaughter noticed that there was a sign put up saying Ross Park. But as I talked to the neighbors between 7915 and 7938 was a lot, they wanted that cleared. They also agreed, because I didn't take it on myself to say this is what the neighborhood wanted. They still want that land cleared. They want a playground for the kids there where they can walk within that neighborhood. The neighborhood is growing more with younger families within that neighborhood. Ross Park would be too far for them to walk their kids down there along that road. The concern was about a parking. I've rode through Penn Hills on the way to Monroeville, and I noticed playgrounds where they just have, within the area, no parking. All we're asking for is like a water sprinkler for the little kids, a set agenda for the age range within that area for the kids to play. The neighbors are in agreement. If they have to write a petition to give to you for that, they're willing to do that. On Paulson Avenue, we'll give you a good example of what we're asking for. And the question to a lot of them, to you as council and those of authority over the money, why has the area at 15147, which is Penn Hills but zoned to Verona, has not had improvements within that neighborhood? And I've been living there going on 50 years. So I'm concerned. I never asked any questions. People take it upon themselves that you're sort of taking care of that area, and I realize, no, you're not. So that's why I'm here today, to put it on record that that area needs to be cleaned up as soon as possible, that land flattened down where I named, before trees or whatever grows up there, and that's where we want the playground.
Thank you so much. Just in case there's anybody who isn't familiar with our format, just to let you know, we have voting and non-voting meetings. At our non-voting meetings, there is a give and take. At our voting meetings, just like Ms. Goodson just did, you just sign up in advance, and it's like this is the protocol that's basically in every municipality, and even Congress has a time limit. So typically we don't usually do it back and forth, but I do have to say I'm very, very proud of this council. Ms. Goodson said she's been complaining for 12 years. This is the first time this council's ever been convened together, and I'm very proud to say that this council has, along with the administration, has addressed this issue right now. So thank you for pointing that out. May I get a motion for item 7A?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the 2023 minimum municipal obligations for police and non-police pension funds.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Pecora,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Item 7A approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for item 8A?
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-52 for the acquisition and disposition of vacant land at 12409 Frankstown Road, parcel 448-R-337.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Councilor Fascio.
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pecora.
Yes.
Item 8A approved.
May I get a motion for item 8B, please?
Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that we accept and approve item 8B, approving resolution number 2022-53, adopting the 5-year capital improvement program for 2023 through 2027.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public?
Page 4 of that plan, under Public Works. This isn't complicated. It just says a bunch of stuff, Southern Joan, and bridge repair on Old William Penn and South McCully. I don't know of a bridge on Old William Penn at all, and South McCully sort of comes down where the Pecora Highway's been designated, and we have a sinkhole or something that has been temporarily patched and 10-mile-an-hour speed limits or something put up because a car actually flipped over before. So is that vicinity maybe it's just the wording, is it that stretch of the road that this targets? I have it here if you want to see it.
There's bridges down, if you're on Old William Penn and you're going up to the temple, there's bridges there that I think were included with that I think PennDOT's
Well,
getting money for
Penn
now.
Hills ends right at that bridge where the creek is. Thompson Run Creek defines our meets and bounds.
Okay, we own part of the, Monroeville and Penn Hills share part of a bridge that goes up to the temple.
Okay,
So
so
part
this
of-
would
there
be
is a
done in
bridge that we own part of
concurrence
down
with
there.
Monroeville Authority.
I'm saying that we own part of a bridge on Old William Penn, but it's going up to the temple. It's not, I mean, it's not on Old William Penn, but I think
Oh,
what
okay,
it's-
that's
what
what
it's-
misled
that's
me.
what this
So
is
off
referring
Old
to.
William Penn.
That's what that's
a
referring
side
to.
street.
Correct. That's,
Okay,
pro-
so-
that's my guess of what that's referring to, because the state's trying to get money to fix those bridges.
Yeah, because there is no bridge on Old William Penn. But I would like to add, and I've mentioned this before, I called Mr. Pecora, that, that dedicated Memorial Highway, it really undulates pretty bad. And if there's anything that we could do, Chris, to maybe target that as well as this document develops might be advisable. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment? Any comment from council? I would just like to point out that the bridge that is going up to the temple, that temple, you can see it as you're driving off, if you're coming from Monroeville into Penn Hills and you look off to the left. That is the oldest and largest Hindu temple in North America. I'm quite proud that that is in Penn Hills. I'm also quite proud that that bridge is being repaired, replaced. The reason being that some of you may recall, the county executive called me personally, and we had a meeting with the top engineer from PennDOT. That speaks volumes about Penn Hills. For them to undertake this action and to notice that shows it's a reflection of our professional staff here. They don't give that kind of money to municipalities who don't have the ability or the proven track record that they can handle that and that they can undertake that sort of project. So although that was not the purpose of this particular motion, since Mr. Swatek brought that up, I wanted to just reiterate that that's really a powerful reflection of the professionals that we have here on staff at Penn Hills. Roll call, please.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pecora,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Item 8B approved.
May I get a motion for item 8C, please?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Resolution 2022-54, authorizing the municipal manager to sign a 3-year comprehensive maintenance services agreement with PennDOT for street sweeping.
May I get a second, please?
Second.
Any comment from the public?
Faith Milazzo, 121 Castle Drive. Can you just explain what this agreement entails? Like, I don't know if it's specified how often.
This is an agreement whereby the municipality is going to get reimbursed for street sweeping that it does on state roads. There's
So-
certain roads that are itemized in this document, and we typically, under the agreement, perform street sweeping there, and then PennDOT reimburses us for that.
Is there
what
like
that is.
a set time, like how often that's done? Or is
That, I
really-
would have to refer those questions to our director as to how often. Some of that is spelled out in the agreement. I could just tell you that there's an itemization of which roads are treated, and actually, it gives the hours of how often it is. It's in here.
Okay.
It says that it's in the spring before May the 15th. So all that information's in online.
Okay, because I was having trouble downloading it. Is it right within the documents for today's meeting?
Yeah, it's in there,
Okay.
yep.
All right, thank you.
Any further comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Mayor, I'd like to suggest that maybe we can get some signs, have our Public Works Department maybe post those signs up in those areas for posting that information of street cleaning days and times, please.
Good idea, thank you.
Know that.
Any further comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pecora,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Counselor Fascio.
Yes.
Item 8C approved.
May I get a motion for item 8D, please?
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-55, authorizing the municipal manager to request an agreement with PennDOT for the relocation of municipal utilities.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Yes, Mayor, maybe Scott can just give a little clarification on that. So the public-
Sure. This is sort of similar to the last one. What this is that PennDOT is going to be performing work on or in an area where we have 13 manholes. So what they're asking is whether we want them to incorporate those 13 manholes in their project. They have to be relocated. So they're requiring that, in addition to us sending them a letter that's requesting that they include those manholes in their project, they also request a resolution authorizing the person that signed the letter. It's sort of nitpicky on their part a little bit, but that's what this is. This is authorizing me to send a letter to them saying, please include those 13 manholes in your project. Did I get that right? Yep. That's what that is.
Thank you. Any
Okay.
further comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pecora,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Counselor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Item 8D approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for item 8E?
Mayor Calabrese?
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Resolution 2022-56, awarding a 2-year contract with third-year contract option to CWM Environmental Incorporated for the municipality of Penn Hills WPCD pump station maintenance contract in the amount of $457,750.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public?
Bill Mouch, 1335 Maple Avenue. I have a question. How many employees are down at the pump station under this contract, CWM Environmental? How many employees do we have running that pump station?
Are you asking for Penn Hills employees or CWM employees?
Well, it said the contract is for the WPCD pump station maintenance. So that's one pump station, right?
12.
No.
So this contract is $457,750 is to cover one pump
No,
station?
there's 12 pump stations in Penn Hills.
Oh, Penn Hills.
Yeah, we have 12
Okay.
pump stations, yeah.
And the other question would be, this amount of money, does that cover man hours only, or does it cover materials that might be needed to keep the pump stations in operation?
I can answer that. It's first item is to mention that that amount is for all 3 years of the contract. So you can divide that by 3 for the annual contract amount. And there is some equipment and some materials that are required in the contract. So for example, they're required to inspect all the operating equipment. They're cleaning bar screens and debris on a daily basis and just making sure the mechanical functions of the facilities are correct. They're lubricating the equipment, so there's some materials there. But so they are required to supply the materials and even equipment. Now, they're not going to replace a pump, but they'll do the maintenance on the pump.
Okay,
So
thank you.
all of that is included in the replace the pump packing, et cetera.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
as I understand it, there was only one bidder on this project. Is that because there's no one else qualified to do it?
Well, this contractor is the one that you've had for
Right.
several years, and other contractors look at these as well. And it's not easy work. It's 365 days per year. It's
Right.
hard to get staff and then to train them and to get them efficient. And in reviewing the costs from this company, there's been very marginal increases each year. So this one individual bid is responsive and is reasonable in price, and it's what we would expect. You don't usually get a lot of competition, especially when they know the prior year prices from the previous contractor. So if that price were to raise, then we would rebid it, and then the other contractors could get involved. However, there are only 2 or 3 that do this all over the area.
Thank
anyway.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any further comment from council? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Pecora,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio.
Yes,
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Item 8E approved.
May I get a motion for item 8F?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-57, authorizing an agreement with Christopher Brian Eduardo for an above-ground swimming pool within the sanitary sewer easement at 120 McCurdy Drive.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public?
Could you please,
Please,
please approach the podium? If you could just state your name for the record,
Barbara
please.
Goodson. Where is this located and why is it above-ground
So
pool?
what is your address to, if you could just say your address?
I didn't hear you.
Could you say your address too, please?
My address?
Yeah.
302 Grove Road, Verona, PA, 15147. I questioned the above-ground pool. Why do they need an above-ground pool for some of the things that we were asking in our area? We could use this for the area where I'm at. Above-ground pool for what?
I can answer if you want. Go ahead.
Yeah.
This is unrelated to what you're thinking. This is a resident that lives at 120 McCurdy Drive, and he is privately, as a resident, wanting to install an above-ground swimming pool. However, in order for him to do it at the location that he would like to do it at, he is within our sanitary sewer easement, which means he's going to be either above our sewer line or very close to being above our sewer line. So this agreement basically says if there's a problem, if there's a problem with our sewer line, we have the ability to basically remove his pool and do what we need to do.
So he's paying for this pool?
Yeah, this is not a public project. This is an agreement that we're entering into with the resident. He's giving us permission to say, if there's a problem with our sewer line, we have to move his pool. That's what it says.
Okay.
Okay?
It's a very common agreement. When you encroach upon a municipal right-of-way. And basically what it's saying is that he's putting in the pool at his cost, at his risk. That in the future, if we need access to that sewer line, then we're going to take that pool down. And the municipality doesn't have to pay any money to restore it.
Okay, I just want to make sure our tax dollars is not putting the pool in for him.
No.
any further comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Yes, Mayor, I have a question. So with that being said, so what about if he sells his property in the future? Would that just be made clear to the new buyers of that property? And
It would run with the land.
that agreement, have to come back before us? Like, how would that work?
It would run with the land.
Okay. All right. And then I just wanted to hear from the engineer, like, Rick, what do you think about that?
I don't like when they plant trees on the easement, so swimming pools. As long as they get it, because we run into this all the time, and there are no agreements. And so if you hint to the idea of touching someone's swimming pool because you have to dig your own sewer line within your own easement, people get very upset. So getting agreements is 3/4 of the battle. So still not the best scenario, but I understand why councils would, want people to enjoy their property if it is a minimum disturbance to the municipality. So I'm assuming someone from Water Pollution Control looked at this, and it's not a hardship if indeed it were to be removed. And an above-ground pole is relatively easy to remove.
Okay, and so I'd like to confirm, did someone from the department look at that? Does anybody know?
Yes, if the memo's not in your packet, there was a memo from Water Pollution Control approving this, and it's basically depending on the height, how far underground it is, the age of the sewer line. And typically today, we know we're lining a lot of sewer lines. It's unlikely that it would be coming through the backyard of somebody's property to dig up a sewer line in this day. Also, in addition to this agreement is required to be recorded. So once this agreement is passed by mayor and council, it's recorded with the property, so any future purchase of the property or any future buyer would have knowledge that this agreement is there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any further comment from council? I just want to point out, this isn't the first time we've seen something like this. This is actually quite common, and there's always that, competing interests. We've got the property owner who we want to enjoy their property, and yet we have to protect the taxpayer. So this is actually a good thing, because this saves us a headache later. We're all saying up front, everybody knows you can do this, but you, homeowner, are assuming this risk. So this is actually a good thing. Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pecora.
Yes.
Item 8F approved.
May I get a motion for item 8G, please?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
I'd like to make a motion for Resolution 2022-58, exercising the final option year with Republic Service for 2023.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public?
Betty Arndt, 172 Highland Road. I see on Republic's website that they make charitable contributions in the communities where they provide service. And I was wondering if we know, have they made any charitable contributions in Penn Hills?
I've been asked that before, and not to in the 4 years I've been here, I don't know that they have. That isn't to say that they've never done it, but I don't know of any in the last 4 years that they've made to a nonprofit in Penn Hills. That doesn't mean that they haven't. If they have, we never heard of it.
So before we sign this, might we encourage them to consider? Just a thought. Thank you.
I think we all realize that Republic has been less than ideal.
If you just state your name and address for the record.
I'm sorry.
please.
Bill Mouch, 1335 Maple Avenue, Verona, PA. I think we all realize, everyone in this room, that Republic has been less than ideal in their services this year. Maybe because of COVID, maybe because they didn't have enough employees. They have different trucks that come pick up. They're supposed to pick up the recyclables in one truck and then pick up the regular trash in another truck. They've been picking up the regular trash in in one single truck, both the recyclables and the regular trash in the same truck. And we called Republic, and they told us they don't have the manpower. Okay, so that's something to think about in the contract going after next year when the contract's up. I understand Monroeville has their own trucks, privately owned by by Monroeville. I wonder if Penn Hills might consider something like that, using the money from the government to buy some trucks and run it ourselves. And to begin with, it'll cost a lot of money, but in the long run, I think it would save us and give us a lot better response to our neighborhood. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Douglas Bentley. I'm located at 7741 Mark Drive in Verona, PA. My question for the Council is, I also have Republic Sanitation at another property of mine, and they issue us 95-gallon trash cans. Those trash cans help our community out because when people leave their trash bags on, the critters get into those trash bags and it causes community cleanups. A number of people in this room are a part of these community cleanups on the weekends, and Republic can issue those out to each municipality or each community if need be. And I'd just like for our council to consider that as an option as we move forward with the contracts further for Republic. Thank you.
Faith Milazzo, 121 Castle Drive. I'm just wondering, it said in the agreement that it was in the, something like in the best interest to renew this, extend the contract, so I'm just wondering about that. Is it that we're not ready to shop and look for another entity yet, or is there some other reason?
I think just speaking for myself, I think a lot of it's the cost. I think with the price of fuel that we're looking at, I think to have our costs relatively stable next year, I think is in our best interest.
So like by doing this, was it explored to, hey, if we get another 3-year contract, like was that ever discussed?
Sorry,
what was it ever discussed to look at another 3-year contract? Because I believe, I didn't look at the previous contracts, but I feel like every year it went up. That was part of this contract. Each year it was a little more. And I'm just wondering if we looked at that, if that was what it was going to be again, or we didn't get that far. It's just, here's 1 year.
I'm not sure if I understand your question. This contract that we entered with Republic a few years ago, the first year of it was where we really saw the big increase because of the recycling issues at that time. Then there were 2 more years in it where it was basically level. Last year was an option year, so it stayed the same last year. Now it's again staying the same. So it's the same contract, the same service for 1 final year. It would have to be then advertised and solicited next year.
But it is a little bit higher, though. It will be a little higher this coming year.
Just a little bit, yeah.
And, we would abide by all the terms of the current contract. Like,
Correct.
Nothing can change, To Bill's point and other points.
And there's going to be some glass recycling events next year as well. One of the things that we are doing with Republic is we talked to them about staging some glass recycling events. We heard that's something that people care about, so we listened. And when we get the details on that, we'll be sharing them. But there's going to be at least 3 glass recycling events next year.
Okay. But I'm guessing there's no way, just to Bill's point, and other people have made this point, I feel like the service has really not been that good this year, that people are not getting electronic pickup. Someone just messaged me the other day and said, someone has tried to get a hold of Republic for a month and can't to get a pickup. I said, I don't know what to tell you.
They should call here.
I suggested that.
We have had issues with it since really, there's been issues since the pandemic, and they've had some staffing issues. A lot of them have been resolved. We're in touch with them on a daily basis. If someone can't get in touch with them for a month, I would say they should just call us or email us. We could, we can intervene on their behalf, but we are in touch with the managers of the route. They've had some issues, but they're trying to do the best job they can, given the situation. They had some trucks down as well. There's some problems getting parts. So we have had some issues, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
One of the other things that you need to consider is that the exercising of an option is a business decision. Mm-hmm. And you make that decision believing that it's economical, number one, to do it, and number two, you wonder who you might get down the road. You don't know. We're in uncertain times, and when you rebid these contracts, you're going to get everybody bidding, and there are companies out there that will underbid people, and they'll also underperform. You're always going to have residents that have an issue here or there with their garbage collection. But I think that we can read in the newspaper these garbage haulers that come in and they underbid people. So if you think you have somebody bad or underperforming right now, you might get somebody way underperforming just to get the contract in the future because you have to go with the lowest responsible bidder. So you have to keep that into consideration as well.
And the other big companies, no day to beach either, I think. Is,
And I'm aware of a few of them.
yeah.
Any further public comment? Any comment from council? Yeah, I mean, it's easy to, this is not the sort of contract like, we're just going out and trying to bid for, paper plates or napkins or whatever. This is massive. We don't have a whole lot of people knocking at our door. Penn Hills is huge. We are the largest suburb outside the city of Pittsburgh. We're not like we can compete with other places. We're not small like smaller places. We even tried once to consider breaking it down into maybe if we had 3 vendors that would come in and break it down. It's not easy to get vendors to come in and do that sort of thing. I don't know that it's necessarily fair to compare services now as compared to pre-pandemic. Every single place you go, whether it's to the grocery store or to if you go out to dinner, I mean, staffing is an issue. I think that pricing is an issue. Take a look at gas prices, what's happened. Everything's a little bit higher. Look at your own household budget. That's what I always compare our budget to. When I look at the municipality budget, I look at my own budget. Many of you know I have kids in college. It's surprising to me that my son keeps calling home every time he goes grocery shopping. He's complaining to me about the price of groceries. I think we have to be a little bit patient because this is a time in history that we're all living in. I can tell you that when I look at my own neighborhood, these workers are out there working their hearts out. So I think we have to be a little bit patient. And as the solicitor said, this is a business decision. And it seems like if these prices skyrocket right now, we've got this option. So under the circumstances, this seems to be the absolute best that we can do. And I think that at least the workers are doing the best that they can do under the circumstances as well. Roll call, please.
Counselor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pecora,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Item 8G approved.
May I get a motion for item 8H, please?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve Resolution 2022-59, accepting the conveyance of a quitclaim deed from the Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County for parcel 451-P-314 on Rodi Road.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Any comment from the public?
Thank you, Mayor Calabrese. Greg Swatchik, 648 Gramick Lane. Similar to the previous E&F items, where a little bit of discussion was centered around caution, make sure we dot our I's, cross our T's, and don't get surprised. I looked up quick claim deeds real quick. It said quick claim deeds do not protect the seller from any issues with the title of the property. And then later says there's no way to guarantee that the property is owned free and clear and that there are no easements or restrictions. So just with that in mind, okay, the way this is worded, it says subject to the covenants set forth therein and a copy of which deed is attached to this resolution. At least on the internet it wasn't attached, but I guess I'm kind of certain, and we can confirm that the solicitor or someone with authority and knowledge looked into exactly what that says before we accept it as written. And then the only other thing I would add is whether or not there's any relevance to perhaps, as Ms. Sapp said, Councilwoman Sapp said before about changing the boundary line. I think I may not have made it clear. I'm not talking about changing the municipal boundary line. I'm talking about the ascertain and establish, which was already done. And change implies annex, which is we're going to change what we know to be. So there are two different things and two different legal processes. So inasmuch as we have the 1851 line, location and bearing, whether it impacts this property or not, and there's any subtle ramifications as to who could be a legal party as owner, if there's a dispute, so on and so forth, that was in the record the last two council meetings, that I'm sort of raising a flag of caution that we clearly understand through our planning department where the municipal boundary line is as it traverses across Rodi Road and meanders all the way past the green space of Churchill Country Club as we share with Churchill. I don't mean to belabor the point, but it's best that it be exposed before there's any, consequences or potential ramifications if it can be avoided, because we, with some reasonable degree of certainty, we commit to a firm understanding of where the legal line is as we proceed with anything near the line. That's all I had. Thank you.
Any further comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilman Fascio.
I'd just like to note that and offer thanks to the staff work to get this done. This is the first step in what I think is going to be a significant improvement to a gateway to our neighborhood. There are a lot of people outside of government who've worked on this. Kathy and the Shade Tree folks, the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy. We have some very interesting plans, and I'm very excited to see this first concrete step toward realizing those plans.
Thank you. Any further comment from council? I'd like to echo Councilor Fascio's excitement. This was probably close to 2 years ago that we walked Rodi Road with the Shade Tree Commission, and I'm very proud of our Shade Tree Commission. I'm very, very proud of our designation of a Tree City USA. Very few places have that, and that's pretty awesome that we have that, and it's in no small part to our Shade Tree Commission. And although many people up here walked Rodi Road because one of the things that we're undertaking is to take a look at our gateways. We have people that are working on the major inroads. This happens to be Rodi Road that we're talking about right now, but there are other roads that we're talking about as well. And so this particular parcel, and I assure you that this is not something that happened overnight. We've been working on this for quite some time, and it's very exciting to see the things that are going to happen. And as Joanne said, this is the very tip of the entrance, and it's very exciting to think that this may be just a beautiful entranceway, the start of it.
Mayor, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Probably out of order, but I neglected to also thank the CDC for their work in planning of this project. It's been, I'm sure I'm leaving someone out, and I apologize ahead of time, but it's been a wonderful group to work with.
And again, of course, you try not to do this because you always leave people out, but as I look here, I do see Kathy Rayborn sitting there. I see Rick Duncan back there, who is working diligently not only on Allegheny River Boulevard, but also on Rodi Road, and he has done extensive work. So many people have done a lot of work on this, but I would really be remiss if I didn't point out Rick for the extensive work he's done on this particular area. So if we've left you out, please know it's not intentional, because so many people were involved in this, and it's just the beginning. Roll call, please.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pecora,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio.
Yes.
Item 8H approved.
Moving to council comments, Deputy Mayor Pecora, do you have any comments?
No, Mayor, I do not at this time.
Thank you. Councilwoman Sapp, any comments?
Yes, I do. I just would like to say I appreciate all of the residents. I love to see you in the audience. I always say, it's your money. You live here. Come out and voice how you feel about the way your money is being spent. You make a difference. We hear your voice. We're only 5 out of 42,000. So I just want to say I commend you for being here and for coming up to the podium and definitely voicing your opinions and your concerns. Please continue to do that and spread the word. This is our municipality, and we want the best for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fascio, any comment?
No, thank you.
Councilman Brodnicki, any comment?
Yes, there was a lot going on in the last week. As most of us got to take part in the Garbage Olympics, and I just want to say it was very well run, very professional. I was very impressed.
Thank you so much. Councilman Brodnicki's correct. There's a lot going on, and one of the things I think Penn Hills is we're huge, but we've got that small town feel. We really do. I appeared on behalf of council at the Seneca Hills Village. We got a thank you card from Lucille Spangler, and she's thanking so much for being a part of their Labor Day performance. They had the residents there who put on a program in the afternoon, and it was really, really quite beautiful to see. Honestly, it was like something you would see at Heinz Hall, and we got to go in for free. We had something that just happened this weekend is the Rosedale Beach Club Annual Festival. That's a lot of work, and coincidentally, someone who does a lot of work is Stacy Rullo's brother, Daryl Saltzman. A lot of work goes into that with a lot of community members. So you see, we are not one neighborhood, but we sometimes behave like we are, and that's because we've got these events where we all get out. Representative Tony DeLuca had a shredding event. Councilor Fascio was there, Deputy Mayor Pecora and Mr. Brodnicki, all down there giving out, accepting food for our neighbors, not just getting, not participating only in a shredding event for the safety and of the personal identity of our residents, but also giving back to the residents. On that same day, there was a dedication at the Rosedale Memorial Park behind Fire Station 222. We're going to have more on the fire departments coming up because it's really spectacular, and we're hoping to do a video so you can see what happens with our fire stations and what goes into it and the history of it. It's really, really beautiful to see the history that we have here in Penn Hills. So hopefully we'll be able to get a video relatively soon. There was the all-class reunion. That was magnificent. I mean, there were reunions going on throughout Penn Hills. Got to go to the park and see the all-class reunion. I see Mr. Bentley smiling here because he's a graduate. We got our picture taken together. To see so many wonderful alumni. A lot of people don't realize that the municipality and the school district are two separate entities. We're completely separate. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter that we share the same, because we share the same residents. A lot of really impressive people, Mr. Bentley among them, have come out as alumni from Penn Hills. And so that was awesome to see that. So that was a huge event. But there also was a smaller but a really cool event was I call it the famous Datura Block Party. And, anybody that thinks Penn Hills is too big for its britches, that was a really intimate setting to see that and that wasn't the only block party that day. That was the one I could make, but we have an intimate setting of neighbors actually doing old-fashioned block parties. There was another party up on, the deputy mayor attended it. Was that on Aber Road? Was that Aber Road? With Mr. Bill Neal? I can't remember.
Yeah, I forget the
I
name.
can't remember the street right now, but
me either. Yeah.
I was out of town, and we have these block parties that go on throughout our municipality. That evening was topped off with Stacy Ruler's birthday party. I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but her home is beautiful, and it was filled. I don't know, there had to be, I don't even know how many people were there, but that was like a huge reunion of so many people. And I think that speaks volumes about our municipality. And of course, we already spoke to the Garbage Olympics. And Faith Milazzo is here, and Becky Finoletto, who is not here, but she runs that. And we had a large participation. You know, I feel like I'm going on, and I really pride myself in trying to keep these meetings in in under an hour. But the reality is, so very much is happening, has been happening, and we have to point this out because, you know, although we were voted the best place to retire in 2018, there's so much going on here, not just for retirees, but for young people and everyone. And I'm going to come full circle because I'm going to close it with this. We get so many grants, and that these grants don't just happen. They come about because although it looks like, you know, I get credit along with council, the truth of the matter is we have a professional administrative staff that's really working hard to get these grants. They get them because they know what they're doing, because they're professionals, and because we have proven that we can handle them. But in addition to our professional staff, we also have many, many volunteers. I'm very pleased to announce that our Shade Tree Commission, headed by Kathy Rayborn, we just got a grant from Tree Vitalize Pittsburgh for 13 trees along Rodi Road. That will be... That planting event will be on November 12th, and if you've ever purchased a tree, you know that trees are not inexpensive and you need to know what you're doing. But that is in addition to what we will be doing at the parcel that we just talked about tonight, that deed, along with that garden where we're working with Conservancy, Pennsylvania Conservancy, Southwestern Pennsylvania Conservancy, sorry about that, along with the trees and along with Duquesne Light that's coming in to take a look at proper lighting, safe lighting. We have so many good things that are going on here. You know, I always say we don't all live in the same house, but we all call Penn Hills home. And please know that all members of council, we live here too, and we really care about Penn Hills, and we know that you do too. Thank you so much, and on behalf of council and the municipality, have a very great evening. We hope to see you at the next meeting. This meeting is adjourned. What's that?
Okay.